Hi, my name is ZaKaiRan, and welcome to another one of my outrageously amazing, insanely enlightening master keys of creation about how to be the unlimited master of creation that you truly are. To easily create and attract the joy, well-being, abundance, and freedom that you desire, and literally make all your dreams come true. And you'll find tons of more self-empowering goodies available on my website at ZaKaiRan.com to help you become the awesome master you truly are. And of course, on my YouTube channel and podcast channel, The Master Keys of Creation. So here we go, the master keys of creating empowered, happy, and fulfilled children. Number 1, do not punish to elicit pleasing behavior to make you happy. It is not your children's job in life to make you happy. That's your job. Instead, become unconditional in nature and make your happiness be independent of your children and not dependent upon anything that they do, and become a master of unconditional love where you love them regardless of what good or bad things they may do. And instead of punishment and reward as a way of manipulating and controlling your children's behavior, instead become a master of giving no attention to their negative behavior and negative character traits at all. And instead, like everything else in your life, because this is the mastery of having wonderful relationships with your children and creating happy, empowered, fulfilled children is no different than anything else you desire to create in your life. Like everything else in your life, you've got to only focus upon the things that you like and want and appreciate. So in this case, in regards to your children, only focus on their positive character traits and only focus upon things about them that is easy to like, love, and appreciate, and pay no attention to their character traits that is not easy to like, love, and appreciate, and what they do that is not easy to like, love, and appreciate. And in regards to negative behavior, this, of course, will test your mastery of alignment to the nth degree, whereby you stay in alignment with joy and love regardless of what negative behavior they may elicit. The key for you is to not attract negative behavior in the first place because you are expecting it, because you've got a lot of momentum of seeing them doing bad things. Instead, get into alignment every single day before you start your day, before you do anything with your children, just like you should be doing with your life, and create positive momentum, and then expect positive behavior and behavior that is providing your child clarity and therefore growth. Because everyone is more clear about what they want when they are clear about what they don't want. All children are born infinite, unlimited creators with their own self-guidance system, guiding them to every good thing that they desire. And they were born with the complete freedom to create anything they desire. So naturally, all children are looking for freedom to expand and grow. Because the purpose of life is joy, and the basis of life is freedom. We all have the complete freedom to create whatever we want. And our natural essence, our natural way of being is to be happy all the time. Just like children are when you get out of their way and they get out of their own way. And just allow themselves to be happy and have fun all the time. So, your job as an empowering parent is to not become an impediment to that joy and freedom by trying to protect them out of fear that they will go down the dark path or somehow get themselves in trouble or fall or whatever. And when it appears that they are heading down the proverbial dark path of resistance, or heading to impending destruction and possibly, getting run over by cars, etc., whatever your fear is, they are merely testing the parameters of the social barriers of limitation that society and you believe to be true, that are not. And these young masters of creation know that limitations are illusions and are testing. They are testing that knowing. And they are testing to see if you know it too, or if you have been indoctrinated into the religion of the lie of limitation by society. They know they are fully empowered to create anything and are not helpless and powerless victims as society believes themselves to be. So never believe or think or imply that your children are helpless and powerless, who need your guidance and protection and cannot make positive choices for themselves without you. And without your guidance, they'll somehow reach harm, die, hurt themselves, whatever. Because contrary to what the religions preach, we were all born perfect and divine. And our natural state of being is joy, well-being, and abundance. We were not born sinful, and unless we follow religious rules, we'll all go straight down to the path of evil. That is the biggest pile of complete bullshit ever dreamt of by very ignorant and very unaware and very fearful and very uneducated idiots who suffered from feeling unworthy, helpless, and powerless from their limited negative thoughts, and compared their supposed faults to some sort of ideal and some sort of pure but yet judgmental controlling God. So if you just get out of your children's way, they will guide themselves in the most optimal way by following their own good-feeling thoughts, especially if they see you doing that same thing and they see you being happy all the time regardless of what other people are doing. Because the best way and the most powerful way to guide your children, or anyone for that matter, is through the power of your joyful, abundant, empowered, self-empowered example. Because our children know the optimal way to guide themselves, which is based upon following their own good feeling thoughts. And you always got to remember, each child and each person has their own source guiding them to good feeling things and good feeling thoughts and joyful experiences. So, because our children know the optimal way to guide themselves, because they're being guided by their own sources, and their natural way is joy and freedom, and they know that the best way to guide themselves is by feeling good and being happy and being joyful and having fun, until, of course, parents and teachers and clergy and family and friends and society teach them to start disregarding their own self-guidance systems, to start disregarding their own source that is guiding them to goodness and joy and fun. And society starts, and you start teaching them to disregard their own good feeling thoughts and their own inner guidance in favor of pleasing you and all those other people instead. In other words, stop being selfish and pleasing yourself, selfish child. It is your job to please me instead, because I am the all-knowledgeable parent and I know best. And then if I'm happy, well, then you'll be happy. So instead of that extremely fucked up, faulty premise of disregarding your own joy in favor of my joy. Encourage your children to make good feeling choices based on good feeling thoughts to create a good feeling life for themselves. Not for you, but for themselves, because your children cannot create for you. You cannot create for your children. Everyone creates their own reality. And of course, that encouragement is best taught by the infinitely powerful clarity of your example of creating joy and abundance and well-being in your life. With the example of your joyful, charmed, abundant, and fulfilling life. Teach your children alignment with the example of your own alignment. As you follow good feeling thoughts and make good feeling choices, rather than the disempowered, ignorant, societally agreed upon oriented way of supposed self-guidance based on following rules and regulations and commandments and prioritizing other people's happiness over your own. Teach your children the ease and power of alignment to source joy, love, well-being, abundance, and fulfillment that we all truly are from following good feeling thoughts. And teach them through the power of your example the process of getting back into alignment when you get out of alignment. So that when they get out of alignment, they've seen you do it. They've seen you become Mr. or Miss Krabby Puss, and then you go away, you get away from the children, you get away from the wife, the husband, the job, the boss, whatever, and you get back into alignment with joy and love, your natural state of joy, love, and well-being and abundance. They see you do it. They see you get out of alignment and get back into alignment. After you throw a tantrum, etc., so that they can do the same thing. So when they throw a tantrum, they know, oh, fuck, I'll just throw it through. I'm just thinking about what I don't want. I'll go into my room and think about what I do want. So do not try to guard and protect your children from harm out of fear. That is negative creation. That is negative affirming. Because fear only serves to attract more things to be afraid of. And even though your fear-based attitude will not actually create for them, will not actually put them in danger, because you cannot create for other people, you cannot create for your children, and you cannot impose your positive or negative will upon them. Nevertheless, your fear-based protective attitude implies that your children, your negative influence implies that your children are helpless and powerless, which they are not. And it implies that bad things can assert their will upon them, and they cannot, because there is no assertion, only attraction. So, basically, influence your children in positive ways, not negative, limited ways. But your fear is only shooting yourself in your own foot, because you are driving your children away from you, because they know that in all actuality, the real truth of the matter is, because they inherently know they can create whatever they want, they know that they are safe and empowered. And their guardian angel, so to speak, their own source, is always looking out for them and always guiding them to goodness and joy and well-being and abundance. And then they know that they are always safe and empowered to make their own decisions and choices that will always lead them to where their source is leading them, to joy, well-being, and abundance. And basically, they do not need your well-meaning guidance. And they certainly do not need your fear-based control. Your well-meaning control implies that they are helpless and powerless, which they are not. They are guided by their own source. So they will naturally resist that lie and resist your control and your fears that they are not safe, etc., that is blocking their freedom and joy. And they will head straight into danger, so to speak, just to resist your control. And you will have no one to blame but yourself, because your fear and quote-unquote protection influenced them to get the fuck away from you and basically attracted the fear you were afraid of instead of attracting safety, which is what you really want. So instead, every morning in your personal alignment time, in your hour of power that is 100%, that should be 100% dedicated to your own personal divine alignment, to your source, and alignment to your desires, and alignment to joy and well-being and abundance, focus on the joy of what you want, not the fear of what you don't want. Envision your children always being safe and happy and feeling free and empowered and thriving and growing and learning and having fun. And see them making good feeling choices that will lead them to their desires. And see them as always being looked after and guided by their own source, which is how it really is. Their own source is always guiding them to good feeling thoughts and good feeling experiences and joy and well-being and abundance and fulfillment. And you do this daily process not so that you can somehow control their lives in some sort of positive manner, but because it feels good to do it. And it will create positive things in your life, which will inspire your children to follow your lead of daily alignment and focusing on good feeling things and getting into alignment to start their day, to pre-pave their way to create what they want in their daily lives, not what they don't want. And through the power of your example, encourage them towards ease and joy and grace by knowing that they are completely 100% always guided by their own divine source selves to infinite goodness, joy, well-being, abundance, and fulfillment. And the final master key of raising empowered, happy, and fulfilled children is the same master key to create anything you desire in your life, which is focused on what you want, not what you don't want. And understand that you have zero control over your children's lives or anyone's lives for that matter, because you cannot create for anyone else, including your children. So you have only two choices in life. Focus on what you want that brings you joy by enjoying the delicious desire of being, doing, and having those desires, and focusing on creating new wonderful things in your life by surrendering to your unlimited power of creation and surrendering to ease and joy and grace and fun and abundance. And allow yourself to be guided by your source and by your good feeling thoughts and good feeling choices. And have a joyful, easy, abundant, and fulfilling life by focusing on what you want that brings you joy, and upon things and people and situations that are easy to like, love, and appreciate, to attract more and more beautiful things and people and situations that are easy to like, love, and appreciate, like your children being happy and thriving and growing and expanding and experiencing joy of fulfillment and empowerment. Or, choice 2, focus on what you don't want, trying to get rid of or destroy or get away from what you don't want, and fighting a never-ending battle of control to keep the bad things and bad people away out of some sort of misguided, faulty premise that when I can destroy everything I hate, all that will be left will be the things I love. which only serves to sabotage your success and keep away what you really want, which is joy and love, because fear attracts more things to fear. And wars attract more wars to fight against. Struggle attracts more things to struggle against. And focus upon enemies only serves to attract more enemies to fight against. Or to put it more plainly, you have only two choices in life. Your complete, unlimited, immortal power and infinite joy, well-being, and abundance, that is your natural state of being. And thinking good feeling thoughts and therefore creating good feeling things in your life because they match the vibration of the joyful things that you desire. Or believe you are helpless and powerless and unworthy and not good enough, and there are bad things trying to get you, and so you must overpower your enemies or be a big-ass victim so that someone will save you. Or, put even simpler, your two choices are surrender and allow, or fight. Surrender to your unlimited power and joy and love, or fight for the illusion of power, also known as control. So in regards to your children, you have only two choices. Fight a losing battle of control to protect them from harm and try to control their behavior through punishment and reward, and therefore creating resentful children just so that you can be happy, who do not need or want your protection and who certainly do not want your control, who know they are free to create whatever they want and who will resist your control at every turn. Or surrender to the fact that your children are completely 100% fully empowered masters of creation who have the complete power and freedom to create whatever they desire and who have their own source self supporting them 100% and who have the entire universe of creation supporting them 100% unconditionally to create anything they desire. And they are always being led to joy and fun and abundance and well-being. And they absolutely 100% can create whatever they want. And your greatest power of influence is with the power of your own joyful, abundant life. So to wrap this all up in a neat little package, here's the master keys to creating happy, empowered, and fulfilled children. Do not try to protect your children with fear. Fear just attracts things to be afraid of and implies your children are helpless and powerless, which they are not. Instead, influence them with joy, well-being, and abundance, not fear. Fear just makes codependent, disempowered children and drives them away from you because they naturally will want to try to get away from your disempowering fear that makes them feel disempowered and helpless. Fear is simply focusing on what you don't want. So always focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. Know that your children are always being guided by their own source to safety, joy, well-being, abundance, fun, and adventure, and is always guiding them on the pathway of least resistance, which is the path of most allowance, and they're always being guided on the path of most fun to the fulfillment of their dreams, just like you, who is also being similarly guided by your own source. So there is no need to hover over your children and try to protect them from harm. Being overprotective only pushes them away, as they will naturally resist your misguided fears that feel like you're trying to limit their freedom. And this especially feels terrible to them because they inherently know that the basis of life is freedom, and they have the complete freedom, support, and power to create whatever they want. And as much as you want to be a positive influence upon them in their lives, your children do not actually need your guidance, so to speak, and certainly do not need your fear-based control that's trying to manipulate them to make positive choices. They have their own self-guidance system, which is their own source, who is always saying, or rather always vibrating, if it feels good, do it. So anything they do is to feel good, which is exactly what they should be doing. Even if society says otherwise and says that they should grow up and act like adults and fly straight. Bad behavior is just them testing the limits of supposed reality and exploring the contrast of unwanted things on planet Earth, which is going to give them clarity about what they prefer to be, do, and have in their lives. So instead of trying to guide them with rules and regulations and logic, which just doesn't seem logical to them at all, because they know that the entire universe does, in fact, revolve around them. And the same goes for every single other person on planet Earth. And it is their jobs to have as much fun as possible. Your most powerful way to guide them is through the power of your example, with your masterful ability to guide yourself into alignment with your natural state of joy, fun, well-being, and abundance, and your ability to create these wonderful things in your life easily, without struggle and without a fight. Your most powerful way to guide them is to guide them to follow their own good-feeling thoughts and make good-feeling choices, just like you do every day of your life. Visual, experiential influence, where they see what you're doing, is always 1,000 times more powerful and an effective way to teach anyone anything. Whereas lecturing and making seemingly unreasonable demands and rules just so that you'll be happy when they change their behavior are absolutely meaningless and impotent, because they just feel like external control and manipulation, and no one really hears them or cares about them, and certainly they don't remember them. Whereas do as I do, follow the example of my life, is immensely, immensely empowering. So do not try to be your children's source of guidance. They have their own source and their own self-guidance system that is based on their feelings, whether they're thinking correctly. If they're thinking in a positive way, it feels good. If they're thinking in a negative way, it feels bad. If they're taking actions in a positive way, it feels good. If they're taking actions in a negative way, it feels bad. You do not know best. You do not know better than them just because you have more experience than them. You are not their source. You are not their primary source of guidance. Their own source knows what's best for them. So encourage them to follow that guidance, which always comes through good feeling thoughts and choices, rather than following your guidance and the guidance of other humans who act like they know it all and that they should follow their guidance. Teach your children instead, through the power of your example, that it is their own job to please themselves, and it is not your job to please them, and it is not their job to please you or anyone else in the world. It is not only not your job to be their source of joy, but it is also not your job to be their source of prosperity. Yes, of course, you are more than happy to provide the necessary resources to feed them, clothe them, house them, etc., because they do not have the current physical, commercial ability to make money for themselves yet. But help them realize that it is their own job to ultimately create and attract everything that they desire, including prosperity, and you are not their source of creation. They have their own power of creation to create and attract what they want. And even you providing food, clothes, housing, etc., for them, well, they have actually attracted that. They have created that. So do not be like society that teaches children that it is their duty to disregard their own personal joy and disregard their own dreams and desires in favor of other people's happiness and desires, and please other people over themselves. Teach them that the most important thing in life is feeling good and being happy. And their own happiness and abundance is more important than anything else on the entire planet. Teach them that the rules created by the adults were generally created with good intentions, but are often ignorant, foolish, and unreasonable. And these rules were created to keep some people happy and create some sort of degree of peace, but not necessarily other people happy, including children. But following these rules, or at least appearing to follow the rules, is often the path of least resistance and less grief, to avoid the wrath of the rule makers who like to be in control of things and who feel that it is other people's job to act in certain ways to keep them happy. Teach your children alignment to their own source and their own desires, with the example of your own daily alignment and how to get back into alignment when they get out of alignment with joy, by your example of how easily you get back into alignment when you get out of alignment and get knocked down by the contrast of life and unwanted things in life. So every day you should be dedicating alignment time just for you before the world thrusts itself upon you and before you got to start jumping in and acting to create things for your children. So first thing in the morning, in your hour of power, meditate for at least 15 minutes and then write down in your little notebook and affirm and envision what you desire to create in your life, which includes happy, healthy, thriving, empowered children, of course, who are making good feeling thought choices that lead them to their desires and most of all lead them to their happiness. Now, this hour of power is for you. It is not for your children. You're not trying to create anything for your children. You're doing it not so you can somehow create a better life for your children with your infinite creative power, because you cannot create for them. You're doing it because it feels good to imagine and affirm your delicious, joyful desires, which in this case is happy children. It feels good to get into alignment with your own source, and it feels good to get into alignment with your desires. And starting your day in this powerfully joyful, aligned state will not only prepave your way to create an amazing day and ultimately an amazing life for you every single day of your life, but it will influence your children into alignment with their natural state of joy, well-being, abundance, and fulfillment. With, of course, again, the powerful example of your life. So surrender to the fact and enjoy the relief of knowing that you cannot create for your children, and it is not your job to try to create for your children, and they are fully empowered to create anything they desire. The entire universe has their back, so to speak, and your only job really is to help them remember that as society tries to drum it out of them. So since you cannot create for them, then that means you have no power to protect them from danger or pain, and trying to do so influences them towards pain and away from you based on where you're focused in the law of attraction, how that works. So your job as a parent is to not get in the way of their own process of creation and making positive-oriented decisions for themselves by not trying to keep them from making bad ones. Instead, lead with the power of your own life by making good choices for yourself. Completely focus on their positive qualities and see and edify their infinite, unlimited power and magnificence, and pay no attention to their negative character traits and behavior. Encourage them to believe in their infinitely empowered nature rather than believing, as society teaches, that they are opposite, that they are limited and helpless and powerless and inherently bad and unworthy, etc., etc., and it is their job to please society, to make society happy, but also to get what they want. And show your children how to create immensely happy, abundant, and fulfilling lives by themselves, by you creating a happy, abundant, and fulfilling life for yourself. Again and again, I keep repeating that. As you masterfully choose to think good-feeling thoughts and make good-feeling choices. And as you focus your primary attention only upon things that are easy to like, love, and appreciate, and as you pay little or no attention to what is not easy to like, love, and appreciate. Teach them through the powerful example of your life that to get what they want, they must first get happy and then focus on what they want. Not upon what they don't want, fighting against what they don't like and don't want, and then their desires that match their state of happiness will manifest in their lives. Help them realize that what society does, where they focus upon unwanted things and try to get rid of unwanted things and fight against things that they don't like and don't want, only shoots themselves in their own feet, because trying to get rid of what you don't want does not work, because you just attract more unwanted things that you've got to try and get rid of. Teach them to the power of your life where you primarily experience ease and joy. That ease and joy is our natural state of being and creating, and struggle is 100% optional and completely unnecessary. Teach them that contrary to what society believes, we do not need to fight against supposedly more powerful forces that are allegedly trying to limit our freedom or stop us from getting what we want, because this is a universe of attraction, not assertion. And even though they will encounter numerous authority figures making limited, illogical, unreasonable, misguided, and unfair rules and regulations that they're supposed to follow, and even though these rules seem like something that will limit their freedom, encourage them to realize that nothing can limit their freedom to be happy and prosperous and create whatever they want. And the only thing that can limit them getting what they want and being happy is themselves and their own negative thinking. Teach them through the power of your example that there is no such thing as a victim, and every single experience and situation, positive or negative, for absolutely everyone, is 100,000% attracted. Mostly unconsciously attracted, because people don't understand how the law of attraction works. They don't know how powerful their thoughts are, and they don't know that they should be thinking in positive ways. But nonetheless, every single experience that every single person on planet Earth has and is experiencing, they have 100% attracted because of their limited judgmental thinking about things and people and situations that they don't like and don't want. Teach your children that regardless of the appearance of power and control and bravado on planet Earth, no one is more powerful than them. And because there is no such thing as assertion, no one, not even the greatest supervillain, can assert their will upon them without them attracting it with their fearful, judgmental, limiting thoughts about unwanted things. Teach them that their own source and your source and the entire universe of creation, or God, if you will, is 100% unconditionally supporting them to be, do, and have whatever they want, and to be totally happy and prosperous. And is arranging all of the cooperative elements for them to literally create anything that they desire. And all they have to do is allow these blessings to rain down upon them and bless their lives, and not block their own desires, the gifts that the universe is trying to give them, from coming to them by thinking about a lack of their desires and about unwanted things. And most of all, through the power of your example. Teach them through the example of your amazing life that the purpose of life is joy, not struggle to prove worthiness. Teach them that their number one focus in life is and should be to have as much fun as possible. And teach them that the basis of life is freedom. And they have the complete unconditional freedom to create anything they desire. And their mission in life is to have as much fun as possible, creating their desires into physical reality and delighting in their own awesome, infinite, unlimited, ecstatic magnificence. Their mission in life is to feel good and be happy and prosperous. And it is not their mission in life to make other people happy, only to make themselves happy. And in fact, that is the only thing in life that they actually have creative control about, their own happiness. Because no one can assert happiness upon them, and they cannot assert happiness upon anyone else. We're all in charge of our own happiness and abundance. So this idea that humans have got that we can actually make each other happy is not actually accurate. And it's easy to be happy all the time. Show them that it's easy to be happy all the time. Just think happy, feeling thoughts about wanted things that are easy to like, love, and appreciate. It's very simple. I'll say that again. Just think happy, feeling thoughts about wanted things that are easy to like, love, and appreciate. And don't think about bad feeling thoughts and things and situations and people and unwanted things that are not easy to like, love, and appreciate. And focus on having fun and more fun and more fun and what fun things we can do next and what fun games we can play and what creative things we can dream up next. And what fun and more fun and more fun and more fun. So, I hope you enjoyed my podcast, The Master Keys to Creating Empowered, Happy, and Fulfilled Children. And it helps you to, number one, become an empowered influencer by learning how to get into and stay in alignment with your own natural state of joy, love, well-being, and abundance, and freedom, and fulfillment, so that you influence your children so that they know they can do the same thing. And show them that when you get out of alignment with that, it's easy to get back into alignment by thinking about good feeling things that are easy to like, love, and appreciate, so that they create happy, healthy, wealthy, fun, joyful, abundant, fulfilling lives. So, if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends. Bless them with these amazing teachings. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, to The Master Keys of Creation. Come visit me at ZaKaiRan.com for more self-empowering goodies. To help you become the awesome master that you truly are. My name is ZaKaiRan, and I help success-minded people create the happy, abundant lifestyle you love. Thanks again for watching my video or listening to my podcast, and I wish you immense joy and abundance on your magnificent journey of divine creation. And remember to make life a holiday